Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Taki Show. So if you guys have gotten the Instagram update, you know that Dean Wenner is in the studio. And so today we'll be doing a few interview questions sent in by fellow Wentworth students. So before we start, let's get on with our little intro. You're listening to Wire, Wentworth Internet Radio Experience from the campus of Wentworth Institute of Technology. This show does not represent Wire, the colleges of Fenway, or Wentworth Institute of Technology in any way. If you have any questions or concerns, please email us at wire.wit.edu. Alrighty, everyone. So, as you know, Dean Wenner has come into the studio for a little bit of an interview. And so to start off, would you like to say anything to our listeners?
I'm excited to be here. So excited that I arrived 1 hour early. Hello, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving.
So, as I do with everyone who visits the show, I always ask, what is your favorite song at the moment? You can answer now or wait until the end of the interview if you are not sure yet.
Well, actually, I can answer that. I was listening to a podcast this morning called Broken Record, and it is Malcolm Gladwell, and he interviews artists, and he interviewed Norah Jones, and I did not know that she has a new record out. So I listened, and I don't know the name of it. I'll report back.
Awesome. And so as we are here, let's get right into these questions.
All right.
You have quite a few with a interesting variety. So we'll start off with the first question of what were you like in high school?
Oh, God. What was I like in high school? Well, so you know how high schools have the superlative awards that they give out? I was the class clown for my high school. So I enjoyed making people laugh. I was very active. I was a 3-sport athlete. I was involved in our yearbook and newspaper, student government. And I was pretty friendly. I was somebody who was able to negotiate all the different cliques. I had a good high school experience.
That's wonderful. I know from a little bit of what you said, that reminds me of my cousin who just recently graduated high school as well.
Congratulations to your cousin.
I think for his high school experience, it was very similar to yours because he's very active. He joined track team. He was in soccer. He was in culinary. And in all of that, he decided to end up being a doctor.
Wow.
So that was a very interesting change because we thought he'd continue his culinary adventure. But I think that once you go into college, everything changes a little bit. So from that, I know that sometimes it gets stressful working consistently, and you do work on a campus with many students. So would you say that there's a place that you often like to go that helps you get away, but it's still on campus?
So I arrived to campus really early in the morning. So I get here around 5:30 every morning because I don't like traffic. And I love to just be in the office when it's really quiet and it's just very peaceful and I'm able to get some work done. But if you're wondering, like, where's my spot on campus that I particularly love, I love the pavilion. I just love the way it is quiet, but I can hear the rustlings of the cafeteria and I can see people walking on the pike and in the quad. So I love the pavilion. I have yet to be on the upstairs terrace yet from the library. So I have a feeling once I step out there, that will be my favorite place.
I think that as well. I still haven't gone either.
We'll go together.
It's interesting to know that because I know a lot of students have already gone to it, and a lot of students often go, "Oh, have you been yet? Have you?" I'm like, no, but I'll try one day. And I think that looking at it from a distance, it is very beautiful. So
Yeah.
I feel like having more space for people who like to study was a really great thing to add to campus. As President Thompson sent out the email about the new housing, a lot of us were surprised. A lot of people were happy. As an RA, I know that housing is really a really key factor for a lot of students. And so with that, we did have a question for you about how do you feel about them adding a new housing building potentially?
I think it is an important addition. I love that we're able to offer housing to so many students, students who want to be on campus. I do believe that the quality of our spaces has to increase. I also think that we have to have spaces that are not as congested as the suites in Evans Way and Tudbury. And I know the students who live there love it, but negotiating up to 12 people in one space can be overwhelming. So I think we have to have smaller, more nimble spaces to meet the growing needs of our students. So I'm excited about the opportunity to see what a new building can bring to the student experience.
I have heard that President Thompson did do a little bit of a clean out at the beginning of the year, which was surprising, but I think was a very smart move. He took out a few quads and made them into triples because he knows that space in some rooms is very tight. I think sometimes when they do placement of rooms, they don't really look at the size, but they're like, 4 people could fit. And the students, I feel like they're very appreciative this year that they have the opportunity to kind of try out a little bit of a new system of housing. I know I've heard from a multitude of students how they're very curious of how the building is going to look and how they're going to do it. And I think this is going to help Wentworth improve. We are university status now, so that's great. But how do you think that we can continue to improve outside of just housing?
Wow, you're hitting me with the big question.
Oh, yeah.
Well, so President Thompson, when he joined us 6 months ago, he came in and looked at everything through a different lens, which is always so exciting. And he saw the capacity for change and our ability to just be even better than we really are, or than we are right now. And his strategic plan initiatives are going to be pretty impactful. So we're currently in the draft review stages, and he had a series of different groups looking at transforming the student experience, inclusive excellence, high value learning, and new generation partnerships. I think that we have the ability to really connect with our industry partners to find more ways to have project-based learning on our campus and to really give students what they're looking for. I hear from students that come back from their co-op experience, and it changes who they are because they have the ability to put everything that they're learning in classroom and lab into action in the workforce. So if we're able to find a way to have a consistent theme from first year to last year, and not just in the junior year and the senior year, I think that's going to be an exciting opportunity for us. So there's a lot of big changes on the horizon.
Well, following from that, in architecture, we do have sophomores go on co-op in their spring semester. It's a little overwhelming since it is only 3 semesters and then they're put into the work field. From a lot of them that I've seen, it helps them grow. We've spoken with a few upperclassmen architects that talked a lot about just how they didn't have certain skills beforehand, and from going to co-op so early, it helps them have those skills to advance. And I guess from that, I see so much growth in students, and I think being able to improve on something like that is a wonderful idea because not every major experiences that, and not everyone may feel like they have the opportunity to. I know a lot of us, since President Thompson has gotten here, a lot of people say he's doing really great things, making vast moves that a lot of us didn't expect to happen so quickly on. And I think it's also starting to help with interactive things in our student body. So, for example, Wire recently, we partnered with club hockey. And so beforehand, I have never been to a hockey game. And I'm from Florida, so that's rare. I think we're primarily basketball and football. And going to school events, seeing how many people have actually started making it more interactive. A lot of students have said that they wish that sports were pushed a little bit more because they love having a team to root for.
Right.
And club hockey is really trying to fill that gap. So would you say, in terms of athletes and athletics, is there somehow a way to improve that for the students who feel that gap is missing here at Wentworth?
It's a good question because club hockey is fantastic. Our our club sports are really vibrant, and our varsity sports are as well. I mean, we're Division III, and we have a lot of championship appearances under our belt. This year alone, we had our men's and women's soccer and advanced to the finals, and our women's volleyball just advanced to the finals as well. So our students have a lot of opportunities to cheer on the Leopards and to get involved. One of the areas of the strategic plan is trying to figure out, how do we build on spirit on our campus? I love, every year it seems like more and more students are sporting Wentworth gear. And I think that is one of the major factors, to wear your school spirit is important. So I love that you partnered with Club Hockey. If we can have more of those organic connections and partnerships, it brings two different groups who probably would never have interacted before together with a common purpose, which is generate spirit for our teams and for our campus. So I'm looking forward to seeing more students attend more athletic competitions. Our athletes, both our varsity athletes and our club athletes, work so hard in the name of Wentworth that I would love to see their fellow classmates come out and cheer them on more often.
I've spoken with a few of the women's soccer athletes. I have a suite mate who's in women's soccer. She's the goalie, currently the only goalie. She's doing a 10 out of 10 job, really pushing through. And I've noticed just the determination of Wentworth students is very surprising because I know a lot of incoming students often think, oh, this is more of a tech school, but having those opportunities to step out and do more, it really is impressive. I love seeing the diversity that the students feel that they gain from coming here.
Well, look at you. You're an architecture student from Florida in the Wire Station, right? So,
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel as though I want to hear a little bit from the staff. I know a few of our staff members do have shows, which is really nice. Co-op and careers is one, which is very useful, especially if you're nervous about co-op.
Right.
So would you say that there's something on Wentworth's campus that you feel as though is so beneficial that students may not always think about?
For a resource. Yes, I think our Center for Academic Excellence is a hidden gem. Not so hidden. The participation students' visits have increased substantially. And the same for Accelerate. The new makerspace is such a great location right off the quad in our new building. That's a great resource. I also think the CCLP is a wonderful resource for students who are looking to connect to the community and give back on a regular basis. What I love about Wentworth students, and I think from this generation of students coming from high school, is that there's a real dedication to community service and giving back to their community. So I love that. I also think just down here in the ground floor of Beatty, in the Flanagan Campus Center, the Center for Student Engagement, and of course the Center for Diversity and Social Justice Programs, there's so many different resources available to students. And I love when I see students accessing them all, because we know just from research, students who take advantage and access services and resources just have a better experience overall.
So we'll be right back with a few lighter questions from the students. So right now we're going to be listening to New Look by Rita Ora, and we'll see you guys right after the song. And we are back with our last few questions. So to start us right off, I want to ask, what is your favorite kind of coffee and or tea? I am a very big coffee and bubble tea person, so I think this is a very good question.
I agree. I think it's a very important question, especially if anybody goes to Dunkin' Donuts and happens to think, I wonder if I should get something for Dean Wenner. I enjoy a large iced tea with 3 lemons and 4 Splendas. Unsweetened, 3 lemons, 4 Splendas. I drink 1 cup of coffee a day in the morning. It's sort of a habit, but I love unsweetened iced tea.
That's very different. I've met a few students. I think I've seen students get 4 cups a day, which is a lot. probably not the recommended amount, but stemming from that, I guess we've talked a little bit about students on campus, their involvement, but I want to know a little bit more about you. So
Okay.
you do a lot with students. Is there a job that you would have wanted to do, like a dream job that you couldn't because pay-wise or professionally you thought that this was the best career path?
It's a good question. If there are two things that I've always thought about. One is I love landscaping. I often wanted just to open up my own landscaping company and just be outside. I just love being outside and, looking at a yard and figuring out how to just bring out its traits and enhance the curb appeal. I love landscaping. And then I also have always wanted to open up my own daycare. I love children. I was not blessed to have my own children, although I have 4,000 of them with all of you. But I used to work at a daycare. I was the director of toddler development, and it was so enjoyable to work with little people. So that was one. What's my other? It's still in my pocket. Who knows? I'm still young enough to explore different career paths. But right now, Wentworth is where my heart is.
Those little people are also very smart.
Very smart.
They're much more intuitive than we give them credit for sure.
They can read you like a book.
They come up to you and they ask you a question you would have never thought that they could know, and they're very
out of
good.
the mouth of babes. Absolutely.
I used to I did dual enrollment in high school, which is basically taking college classes and high school classes. So I did a little bit of teaching, assisting, and we did high school, and I worked with the culinary program. I was not in the culinary program, so I was very nervous because I was not sure if I could touch anything in their kitchen or anything, but it happened to be really, really good. It was a lot of the first years, so I also learned some tips without having to be in the class, which is nice. And then the following semester, I worked with an elementary school, and I worked with international students, so students just coming from Haiti specifically, because I am from Haiti. I came here when I was 5, and I worked with really just helping them speak a little bit of English. I remember it was an accidental launch because I was stationed at the front office and I had to go hand out some papers, and the student, she didn't speak much English, and her professor was kind of just asking her some questions, trying to help her out. And I spoke to her, and she immediately understood, and I was like, okay, I know. And it was strange because I was in her exact position when I was 5. And so immediately after that, the professor kind of says, if you have any time, please, can you come to the classroom? I'm sure you make her feel more comfortable.
That's great.
I really loved working with second graders. My mom was like, yeah, I assumed. I love kids a lot.
Yeah.
And it was a very educational period for me. I learned that I might do adjunct professor roles when I'm older, because I really do enjoy teaching, and I found courses in architecture specifically that I really love, art history and theory. And so I feel like I understand why you love little people so much. They're just really, really interesting to work with.
I agree.
And so from that, I guess I want to ask, since Wire has been a little bit reborn, as some people say, this year, which is an intriguing way of putting it, we have a lot of shows varying from production, live DJing, interviews, and really just everything imaginable, because these students are very, very creative. Is there a type of show on Wire that you would love to hear about or see advertised on campus?
That's a really great question. I think all the shows on Wire currently are fantastic. I love interactive talking, and I love any show that has a humor element to it. I think we need to laugh more in society, so I love the humor aspect. It would be interesting to have a radio show that polls faculty and staff about what their favorite music is, and to have like themes every year or every week to highlight maybe a different academic department or like the library staff. Yeah, just the way I think music is a unifier, and it just builds bridges where bridges don't exist. And I would love to just learn about other people on campus, musical interests and love. Yeah.
For sure. I know that this year, our technical director and our live on-air director has been really pushing that for our internal students. So a lot of the members in Wire get to contribute their personal playlists, and with that, we play them at certain hours of the day. So that way you feel a little bit more personalized, because you're not hearing just automatically generated music. You're hearing like a playlist from Ben or a playlist from Sarah, and it's really nice to see how you could actually communicate more with your classmates in that way. I think expanding that to staff as well would be a very interesting idea for sure, especially when no one is in the studio and it's just quiet or playing very like curated music. It'd be nice to see like a quick like, oh, you're listening to Dean Wenner's playlist, and for that next hour we play that. That would be really cool.
I'd love to give a playlist.
Oh, for sure. We're still collecting.
All right.
And so we are coming to the end of your interview. There's only about 4 minutes, and I wanted to ask you if there was any advice that you could leave our listeners with. Some of our listeners are out of university, some are still in university, and some are actually students who haven't even reached the age to apply to Wentworth. Our e-board at large member, Sarah, for example, she listened to Wire all through high school, and then she came and joined.
Great.
So now she's a wellness employee, an RA, and so it's really cool to see that.
So great. So you asked me what words of advice. So not necessarily specific to college, but to life in general? Okay. There are a lot of things, but the one reoccurring belief I have is the need to be kinder than necessary. I just think in our society that kindness is so important and needed. And if we're able to step outside of ourselves and look at someone else for who they are and what they might need. And the beautiful thing about kindness is it's free. And it is as simple as looking somebody in the eye and smiling, or saying good morning, or holding a door open, or picking up pieces of garbage. I just think kindness is the key to our individual happiness, and I think societal happiness. So be kind to each other, my friends.
And so with that, we are going to say goodbye to Dean Wenner.
Oh, sad.
It was wonderful
so
to have
fun.
you.
You know what I loved about this? I got to learn a lot about you.
For sure.
Which was wonderful. Because we're birthday buddies.
Yes.
October 11th.
I am still looking for any students who are October 11th. Please
let us know. You can join our birthday breakfast next year.
That would be amazing.
Yay.
Let's grow this into a club. That would be 10 out of 10. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
After this next song, which is Long Way to Go by Four of Diamonds, we will be diving a little bit into resources, because this week is all about resources to prepare you guys for our final week at campus.
Crunch time.
Alrighty. Bye, everyone.
Bye.